morning, Alex and Deanna here, sitting on our nice white sandy beach in the middle of January 2022. A few days ago we shot a video, or we tried to shoot a video, and we had lots of green showing in the grass and lots of our herbs were still growing. We were commenting on how it had been a cold but dry winter. And then a couple of days ago?
Well, on Monday it dumped a lot. This is my 26th winter in Canada. I've never seen so much snow coming down so fast. And basically what you see now, it's 20 centimeters less. It's compacted and it's melting and raining at the moment. But why didn't we do this video 2 days ago? Well, we were busy shoveling. And we'll show you the front pile, which is again 20 centimeters less, compacted and melted. You can see it's raining at the moment and melting.
Yeah, so we were from what, minus 10 or so Celsius, and we're a couple of degrees above freezing today for a while before it goes down again. Yeah, this is life in the Greater Toronto area of Canada, and this is unusual. I've only seen snowfalls like this. I've been here since 1968. I've only seen snowfalls like this a couple of times, and never so much snow coming down so quickly. So it was 30 some centimeters, over a foot of snow, most of which fell within 5 or 6 hours.
I would say here at our area it was 60 to 80 centimeters. You can see now how the snow is actually melting and falling off the table there, but it was a lot of snow. And since our last video, actually, we will show you Doranya a little bit later. Our last video was with Doranya and Alex taking his food through a G-tube. A lot of things has changed since then. So we decided that we need to update you on some status, including showing you how Doranya behaves, our camper van, during such big snow and a lot of cold. His G-tube was removed, so he's eating properly right now, and we were planning to go away with Doranya. However, the roads are not clean yet. They're not cleared, and the call is still stay. If you don't have to go anywhere, don't drive, because you're messing up with the snowplows.
That's right. So the last time we did the video, did a little demonstration about how I was starting to feed myself with a syringe into the G-tube instead of using the pump. Slowly got myself off the pump, and then with the help of a very positive speech-language pathologist, she encouraged me to start eating, even though there were no tests to say I could, but to start slowly and carefully. That was working, and I was taking some of my food that way, and then she gave me a challenge. She said, within 3 months, I see you being off the tube. I was a little skeptical because swallowing wasn't easy at the time, but she was right, but I beat her estimate. So 2 months after she said that, the tube was out. Now, I said in the last video that I wasn't bothered or disturbed at all by using the tube. It was easy, it wasn't painful, and I never had a moment of discomfort when that tube was put in or after, until it was removed. And I got to say, that is a painful process, but it's a very short process. The tube has kind of like a mushroom head on the inside of the inside the stomach, and that has to deform itself and get through a hole about half the width of my my little finger. It was a few moments, but boy did it hurt, and then it was a little uncomfortable for a few days after. So yeah, it's good that they have this technology these days for someone who can't swallow. But I'm really glad to be off that and back eating again. I've put on a little weight, which has made Deanna happy, because she said I look like a skeleton or a scarecrow, depending on the day. And things are looking good. So we're looking good for actually traveling as soon as the weather permits. And we'll be excited to get back in the van and actually use the van a lot more than we've been able to between my health and shutdowns. So that's how 2022 is starting for us.
Yep.
So here we are in front of our house. This is how things look on in the suburbs of Toronto, northern suburbs of Toronto, outside the city proper. Things were a lot deeper than this a couple of days ago. For those of you who aren't used to snow, the snow falls, it's nice and fluffy. It piles up to a great height and then slowly settles and compacts. And then it also melts when the temperature gets high enough.
As is now.
As is now. We're a little above freezing. And this is, it took me, on the day it snowed, I had to shovel
4 times?
4 times. And this is how the snow was piled up after I shoveled 4 times. It took me about 6 hours in total of shoveling. People around here sometimes use snowplow services. Some people have snow blowers. I have shovels. Now, the good news about that is that was 6 hours of heavy work that I couldn't possibly do. I couldn't walk around the block 4 months ago. So things have progressed very, very well. And you can see Doranya, the camper van there. That's where she's been sitting for a lot of the time.
4 months now, 5?
Except for our short trip out where we made our last video. She's wearing a COVID mask, or windshield and side window cover. We use that, excuse me, while she's parked and waiting, doing nothing. Not so much to protect against snow, but mostly to protect against if we have ice buildup and whatever. But even when it snows, all we have to do is peel that off and the windshield is free and we can drive. We also need to take the van for a drive. We need to make sure that the rust is scrubbed off the brakes. Also need to run the generator for a couple of hours just to exercise the generator. And so we'll be checking the fluid levels, we'll be checking the tire pressure, and I can almost guarantee that the tires will need extra air, because the tires on the van, or maybe because of the weight of the van, the air pressure in the tires is much more susceptible to temperature changes than our regular vehicle. Every time the temperature changes by a few degrees, I have to make sure those tire pressures are set right again. So we'll go and check out the van. While Deanna's opening up, let's take a look at how things up are on the roof. And before we drive, I'd like to get rid of as much of that as possible, because I really hate it when vehicles I'm following are throwing snow up at me. And let's head inside. Check the batteries. So we leave this on store when we're not using the van. That disconnects a lot of the systems from the battery and keeps the drawdown nice and low. Our battery condition right now, you can see we have 12.9 volts in the house and 12.9 volts on the chassis, which means the batteries are fully charged. It's half a degree in here. So before we take off the windshield cover, we have to unfold the outside mirrors. And here in the Transit, that's done by pushing down on this little knob here. And one more thing I'd like to mention before we head out is the fire extinguisher. One of the regular pieces of maintenance, I guess, that needs to be done is that fire extinguisher, the contents of the fire extinguisher need to be shaken up a little bit. Because as I've read, the solids in there will tend to settle, and then when you need the fire extinguisher, which we hope we never do, it's not going to work properly. Now I'll hand the camera to Deanna and we'll take off the bra here. Just going to crack the door open a little bit and lift that up. Then under the mirror, you just have a Velcro strip. Undo that Velcro strip. Now in the front, little plastic bags on top of the wipers that will help prevent freezing onto the windshield. So, cover, pull over,